Alright, super quick update on Bitcoin. So for this video, I purely want to focus on the money flow index because there's a very worrying signal which I am witnessing over here right now. So let's jump right into this. So if we do look at where the MFI is at this moment in time, we are steadily approaching 67 and we are approaching the extremely overbought region. Now, what's interesting about this is if we look back on this trend, we have not hit 67 since all the way back here on the 5th of April. I've marked this with a vertical line in white so you can keep along with this easy. So you can basically see this red arrow points to where the MFI last resided when it was at 67. This red arrow points to the price action now where it is at this moment in time on the MFI at 67. And then these green arrows down here with this horizontal ray simply just say, hey, you know, this area here and this area here, these were both the same levels of overextension towards the upside when the money flow index was, you know, heavily overbought at that moment in time. So what's interesting about this is if we put another ray up here, we were basically at 46,500. I'll just round it down to make it easy. 46,500 was the last time that we were all the way up here on the MFI. Now, what you will notice is the MFI, unlike the RSI, the MFI and the RSI both respectively do a very good job of calling where the bottoms are in the market structure. Now, if I show you how the RSI does this very, very quickly, and then I'll tell you the difference, you can basically see, you know, this called the top, this called the top, this called the bottom, this called the bottom, this as well. These were just a series of bounces that correlated to each other. And once again, here you can see MFI, RSI equals the bottom. Over here, RSI, MFI equals the top. And then here we go. MFI RSI equals the bottom, but this is where you start to see a slight divergence, and then this is what I want to talk about and correlate to why the MFI is so much more of an important oscillator, in my opinion, to the RSI. So if you've never heard of the money flow index before, a lot of people call it the volume weighted RSI because it is basically the relative strength index. However, it incorporates the volume that is incoming in the markets, the volume that is inflowing, outflowing, and subsequently when you see large flows to the upside in the MFI, even if the price action is going down, like for example, you can see, you know, the price action was going down, the MFI started to go down, but as retail money, as money starts to pile back into the market, even though we're getting ready to break down on other signals like the RSI, it is showing us that lots of volume is coming in at this moment in time, degenerative volume, and because of this, we are getting to regions where we are overbought, and the money flow index is saying, you know, hey, this may be a dead cat bounce, this may be a lower high, but with every lower high that you give me, I'm going to get more and more overextended. And this is kind of like, you know, this is kind of like how divergences work, where, you know, sometimes they can diverge, price action diverges from oscillators. But yeah, very, very simple video. Tons of volume is coming in right now. The money flow index is absolutely going through the roof. And this is definitely a very, very worrying signal because once again, the MFI is like the relative strength index, but it incorporates the money, the volume that is flowing in and out of the market. And at this moment in time, a huge amount of volume has flown into the market. We are approaching regions of extremely overbought territory. Now, can we take one small leg to the upside? And I've talked about this in a lot of my charts, so this shouldn't be a surprise if we do something like this. But for example, I'm not saying that this is a double top structure, or I'm not saying that the money flow indicator has to come down from this approximate level. What I am saying is in the very near, short, midterm, every time frame really, I do think that we're going to start rolling down. And if we don't, and we do approach levels like 21,000, which I don't think that we're going to get up to, but let's just say hypothetically we come up to 21,000, this would be interesting as well because we've got a trend line. I'm not going to draw the RSI. I've made a video about, and I'll be posting this as well, about the double bearish divergence that we've got going on. But let's say we come up to our divergence descending trend line, we could come up to 21,200, and then this is where you could see the MFI, the money flow indicator. We'd have a large amount of volume coming into the market, and this is where we'd see potentially something like a double top structure. And because of all the retail money flowing into this market right now, buying the dip, the money flow index is saying we are, even though let me remove this because we all know now that that it hasn't been this overextended in 100 days. This is basically saying, even though it's 58% cheaper than we were back here at 46,500, we're very, very overbought in terms of the mid to lower time frame market structure. And subsequently, in my opinion, it doesn't matter if we have a bounce up to 21,000. It doesn't matter if we start heading down now. In the next couple of days, in the next week at most, in my opinion, we're going to start cascading very, very quickly to the downside. And as you can see, the last time the money flow index was this overextended, it had a long way to go to the downside before we did bottom. You know, you can see these very euphoric bounces because, you know, once again, this was signifying, hey, you know, you're once again bouncing up and getting overbought, even though it's a lower high. And then this is saying, hey, I'm going to roll all the way back down to the downside. So this macro MFI move, within a couple of weeks, within a couple of months, within a couple of weeks rather, basically had another 45.5% drop to the downside. Am I saying that we're going to drop another 45.5% in the next couple of weeks? No, I don't think we're going to go anywhere near 11k, 10k, 12k. My personal opinion is that Bitcoin is going to start bottoming round about the 14,000 range. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to 12, but anything lower than that, I just really don't see it coming into fruition. So very interesting fractal, or not an interesting fractal, but the MFI right now, extremely overbought. I would definitely be worried if I was a Bitcoin bull right now. As always, my friends, that is all I've got for you today. Cowboy out. Peace.